Hi, and welcome back to the Cables RC channel. A few weeks ago, we were in talking with the good folks at Amain Hobbies to see if they could recommend a good beginning RC car off-road racer for us. My 9-year-old grandson and I are both relatively new to the hobby, and we were looking to get something that we could learn to race with on their new indoor carpet. They recommended a couple different models, one of which was the Team Associated RB10 Buggy. Two-wheel drive buggy, uses 2S LiPo batteries. So we're going to take a look at that car today. We're going to do a review on what we found when we opened the box and got everything out, and look at some of the features that come with the RB10. Then we're going to take it for a test drive, see how fast we can get it to go and how it performs both on-road and off-road. So let's get started. We bought the ready-to-run version of the RB10, which includes everything you need to run the car right out of the box, except for the 2S LiPo battery and the AA batteries for the transmitter. This seems like a great platform to get started with. It's recommended for ages 14 and up. Well, my grandson, he's only 9 years old, but he's been able to run it pretty well. So far, we've just been running cars outside and bashing them around parking lots and stuff, so this will be the first car that we take indoors on a carpeted track. We're going to speed this up while we're opening the box, and then we'll take a look closely at what exactly comes with the car. This parts bag included a couple of Allen wrenches, a hex nut wrench to tighten the wheel nuts down, and a wrench for adjusting the turnbuckles. Also included was the Team Associated 2.4 gigahertz radio transmitter for this car. In another bag of included parts was a good selection of preload spacers for the shock absorbers. The Team Associated manual is pretty thorough and detailed. It includes everything you need to know as if you were building this car from a kit. It has all the parts, the diagrams, exploded views, how everything goes together, and most importantly, it includes the part numbers for any replacement parts or upgrades that you'd like to add to this car in the future. Let's take a look at the body on this car. It's heavy plastic, heavier than most bodies you might see on remote control cars. It's pre-painted in some nice colors. It's got red and black on this model. It's also available in a blue version. It's got a nice cab forward design with tinted windows at the front and on the sides that you can't see into. It also includes a separate wing that sits up on the back side of the car. The body's only held on with 2 clips, so it makes it really easy getting it on and off the chassis. It's got some nice graphics and decals on the body itself as well as on the wing. And overall, this makes for a pretty nice looking car body. The chassis is a smooth black plastic tub style chassis. It's got what look like skid plates at both the front and the back, the rear one also serving as protection for the motor that sits on the very back end of the car. All of the electronic components sit inside the tub-style chassis and are somewhat protected from side impact. The motor hangs off the back. It's protected by a cover back behind the rear axle. There is also an adjustable slipper clutch that sits to one side of the motor. The front suspension features oil-filled metal shock absorbers, a plastic lower control arm, and tie rods with adjustable turnbuckles for adjusting both the camber and toe in and toe out of the wheels. The wheel cups are plastic with ball bearings and connected to both of the tie rods at the top and the lower control arm at the bottom. The rear suspension features taller oil-filled metal shocks, heavy plastic lower control arm, adjustable camber turnbuckles on each side, and metal dog bones that run between the CVA axles on the wheels and the differential. Here's a good view of the rear metal dog bone going into the CVA axle and the ball bearings inside the wheel cups. All of the electronics are mounted inside the tub chassis. The steering servo sits at the very front and has a servo saver on it mounted to the steering linkage. This is a Reedy 1523 Metal Gear servo. The battery compartment runs along the center line of the chassis and has Velcro straps to hold the battery in place. This car features a Reedy SC600BL ESC with a built-in cooling fan. It's mounted on the right side of the chassis near the battery. This ESC requires a Dean T-style connector for the battery. The on-off switch for this car is hidden by the wires in this view, but it sits in the chassis just in front of the ESC. The receiver is mounted in a waterproof box on the back left-hand side of the chassis. This car is powered by a Reedy 3300 kV brushless electric motor secured to an aluminum motor plate. It also includes an adjustable slipper clutch. The Team Associated transmitter is pretty big, maybe a little bit too large for a youngster's hand. It does have switches for reversing the steering and throttle, and it has adjustments for both the dual rate and the trim for both steering and throttle. The transmitter does require 4 AA batteries, which are not included in the kit. Now that we've looked at all the features on this car, let's take it outside and see what kind of speed we can get with it, and take it for a test drive and see how it performs. We mounted our GPS speed unit on the back side of the body of the car and ran it up and down the street a couple of times to see what kind of speed we could achieve with 2S LiPo batteries. In our first run, we got the speed up to 20.1 miles an hour. If we were running a 3S battery, that speed would probably be closer to 28 or 30 miles an hour. In our next run, we weren't able to get it over 20 miles an hour, probably because it was a pretty hot day out and the batteries were probably starting to drain a little bit. This is my grandson Kalen. He's 9 years old, and this is his first race on the carpet in a rookie class of off-road vehicles. He's had very little practice on the carpet track. By the way, this race is being run at the new Amain indoor carpeted track facility in Chico, California. It's a wonderful facility. Kalen crashed the car a few times and was a little wobbly on some of the turns, but overall for a 9-year-old, he did a pretty good job keeping the car on the track, and he finished all the races. This RB10 is turning out to be a pretty good car for beginners. There are enough settings and adjustments to keep it interesting, but not so many that it gets overly complicated. For us, the biggest challenge is making sure we have the right tires for the carpet and getting the trim and dual rate set correctly on the transmitter. After that, they'll be playing around with adjustments on the camber and toe in and toe out, and then looking to see what adjustments we can make on the shocks. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please punch that like button and subscribe to the channel to help us to keep producing more videos about RC car racing. For now, we'll see you on the next Cables RC video.